So 2024 testing is now over, and I thought I'd just spend a bit of time ranking the 10 teams where I think they sit going into the first race in Bahrain. So I've pulled out my diecast models for each team, and I'll go through the ranking now. So in first place, I think both qualifying and race pace, Red Bull are on top. I'm hoping it's not a huge margin. There seems to be some debate as to whether it's sort of anything from 0.2 to 0.8 of a second ahead of everyone else. Let's hope it's nearer the 0.2 end. In second place, I've got Ferrari. So Ferrari looked pretty quick, which is great news for competition. Carlos Sainz, of course, has got something to prove a little bit, being ousted by Lewis Hamilton next year. And also, as he negotiates his new contract with another team, it's going to be good for him to show his talent. And he looked pretty quick in testing. In third place, I've got Mercedes, particularly on the race run simulation. They look good, and their platform looks much more flexible this year. So I expect Mercedes to really be a contender, maybe not in the first few races, but later in the season they're very good at developing their car normally. In fourth place, I've got McLaren. A bit of a surprise because they were the second quickest team at the end of last season, but they had a few issues in testing. They had a clutch problem, I believe, and didn't do as many laps as some of the other teams. But again, we've got a pair of good drivers, Lando and Oscar Piastri, and hopefully I expect them to be challenging for the podium quite early on. Next is a bit of a surprise. So this is obviously a Toro Rosso, but I've got a Toro Rosso to represent VCarb. I think VCarb are in fifth position. I think they were sandbagging a little bit because their car's a little controversial. It's got a lot of features from last year's Red Bull, and I think they are actually slightly ahead of Aston Martin, and so I've got them in fifth place. In sixth place, I've got Aston Martin. Yes, I know this is a Force India. Unfortunately, I don't have an Aston Martin diecast model, but Force India was obviously a predecessor to the team. It's the same team effectively. It's just Lawrence Stroll bought it and then brought in the Aston Martin brand. I think they're very similar probably to VCarb, but I've got them slightly behind at this stage. Again, with Alonso, I'm sure they'll punch above their weight, but for now, in sixth. In seventh, I've got Alpine. I think their chassis looks quite good, but their engine is down on power compared to the Mercedes, Ferrari and Honda engines, and I think that's going to hold them back, unfortunately, this season. In eighth position, I've got Williams. So I think Williams have done a good job, but at this stage it didn't look quite as quick as Alpine and Aston Martin and VCarb, but let's say they're at the head of the tail enders. So eighth position. In ninth, I've got Sauber. Of course, this is the Alpha livery. I haven't got a bright green car yet, but I thought Sauber looked strong at points, but that was possibly because they were running low fuel, running the car light. But Guangzhou and Valtteri Bottas look quite good, and I've got them in ninth. And then poor old Haas, I've got them right at the back at this stage. They did lots and lots of race simulation, so they're obviously trying to get on top of their tyre degradation problems that they had last year. which is good. Again, they might surprise me. They didn't look particularly quick in testing, but that's because they weren't doing many qualifying simulated runs. So yeah, at the moment they look like they're in last, but again, I'll be very happy to be surprised on the upside. So there we have it. That's my ranking after testing. Very much excited and looking forward to the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. Do you agree with me? Would your top 10 look different? Let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe.